It's Monday, April 7th.
This is the main employer in the city, in Essex County. Everybody, feeds off of Windsor Assembly.
Stellantis shut down. The Windsor Assembly plant begins 2 weeks of shutdown today in the wake of U.S. auto tariffs.
What's going to happen with the market, I can't tell you, but I can tell you our country has gotten a lot stronger.
Market meltdown. Markets in Asia and Europe plunging this morning, and it looks like Wall Street is in for another brutal day as investors worry how far U.S. President Donald Trump will take his trade war.
Here is Ovechkin, shoots, he scores! He scores! Number 895!
History made. Alexander Ovechkin cements himself as the greatest goal scorer in NHL history with his 895th goal, one more than Wayne Gretzky.
Ground ball to short. Abrams is coming home. It's a high throw, and the runner is safe.
Not going anywhere. Multiple reports say Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has agreed to a massive contract extension that would make him a Blue Jay for life. Stay with us, Canada. Your morning starts right now. Good morning, Canada, and welcome to Your Morning. I'm Anne-Marie Mediwake.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Lindsey Deluce.
Hi, Kelsey McEwen. Hope your Monday's off to a great start.
Yeah, lots of fun sports news. We're going to get to that in a moment. But first, let's talk about Stellantis, because that 2-week shutdown at the Stellantis assembly plant in Windsor begins today.
I've had 3 layoff notices in my 25 years, and this is the scariest because I don't know. You don't know what the future is.
Yeah, that's true. That means about 4,500 workers are off the job until the week of April 21st. That's what we know so far. The company is also pausing production at a plant in Mexico for the entire month, as well as temporarily laying off 900 workers at plants in Michigan and Indiana. Windsor's plant makes the Chrysler Pacifica and Voyager minivans, as well as the Dodge Charger Daytona. Meanwhile, Unifor is warning the auto industry tariffs will be felt across the country. It is another rocky day on the stock markets.
Across the board tariffs on every country, including countries that just have penguins, no people. And we're seeing the policy impact and now the impact on how markets reacting.
Markets in Asia plunging this morning. The Shanghai Composite was down more than 8%. Hong Kong's main index had its worst day in 28 years. Europe then followed with every major index showing red. Now, all eyes on Wall Street ahead of the morning open, but investors may want to look away, to be honest. In pre-market trading, Dow futures are down more than 1,500 points. NASDAQ futures down about 780 points. Last week, we know the Dow posted back-to-back losses of more than 1,500 points for the first time ever. And that includes a 2,200-point plunge on Friday.
It wouldn't surprise me to see crude oil prices drop into the mid to high 50s.
Not just stocks that are falling either. The price of oil fell below $60 US a barrel this morning. Gold, which is supposed to be a safe haven for investors, is on a losing streak. Bitcoin also joining the rout. Its price fell below $78,000 US this morning. So U.S. President Donald Trump is still defending, though, his tariffs that are sending shockwaves through the global markets.
Is there pain in the market at some point? You're unwilling to tolerate this idea of a Trump put. Is there a threshold?
I think your question is so stupid. I think it's I don't want anything to go down, but sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something.
President Trump has also been saying that jobs and investment would return to the U.S., making it, quote, wealthy like never before. By the way, J.P. Morgan is predicting a 60% chance of a U.S. and global recession after that tariff announcement last week. Meanwhile, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick told CBS News that the 10% baseline tariff on all imports will stay in place for, quote, days and weeks. Keep in mind, steeper reciprocal tariffs are still on track to be rolled out on Wednesday. Turning to our country news, with the federal election campaign now into its third week, a poll is showing the Conservatives cutting into the Liberals' lead. So this poll from Nanos Research shows the Liberal lead narrowed to about 6 points. The Liberals now sitting at 43.4% support. The Conservatives sitting at 37% support. The poll also says the NDP have fallen to a new numerical low at 8.2%.
If any province or municipality wants federal investments, federal funds to build homes, they have to put in place laws that protect renters.
Campaigning on the East Coast yesterday, NDP leader Jagmeet Singh proposed a plan to implement national rent control. The NDP also promising to introduce a renter's bill of rights.
This is outrageous. We cannot go on like this.
Campaigning in BC, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre pitched a complete ban of new supervised consumption sites. He also he said he would add new restrictions to existing sites and end safe supply programs. And Liberal leader Mark Carney arrived in BC for the first time this campaign. He met with young voters in Victoria. There are almost 60,000 homes and businesses in Ontario still without power after last week's ice storm. Hydro One said there were about 69,000 customers off the grid yesterday morning. By nighttime, that number went up to 80,000. The utilities say the weather has improved. Its helicopters and drones are back in the air. Rain and localized flooding, though, could slow down its crews. Peterborough, one of the communities dealing with flooding right now. The city has put out a release warning everybody about high water levels and obviously be careful around shorelines. There were clashes between police and protesters at a demonstration in Montreal yesterday. This protest was held in St. Michel, a few blocks away from where Abhishek Cruz died last Sunday. Cruz, who was 29 years old, died during an interaction with police. His death is being investigated by Quebec's police watchdog. 6 people were arrested at yesterday's protest. 4 were arrested for armed assault against an officer and 2 people for assault also against an officer. All right, switching gears. He has done it. Alexander Ovechkin has made hockey history.
Here is Ovechkin, shoots, he scores! He scores! Number 895!
Whoa, so fun. Ovechkin is now the all-time NHL goal-scoring leader. Wayne Gretzky was there, you saw him. So this was Sunday afternoon against the Islanders. The game then paused. Well, Ovechkin's achievement was celebrated with speeches from Gretzky. Just listening to a little bit. NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman spoke, and of course, Ovechkin himself. The record-breaking goal was his 42nd of the season. He has scored at least 40 goals 14 times and 50 goals in 9 seasons. That's incredible. Okay, if you're a Blue Jays fan and you're just waking up this morning, got some great news. Vladdy's not going anywhere.
Here's a challenge system. Guerrero smokes one the other way, and that'll get into the gap. Cut off by O'Neill. Guerrero on his way to second, and it's a sliding double.
All right, multiple sources, including the Canadian Press and ESPN, reporting the Toronto Blue Jays and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. have agreed to a 14-year contract extension, reportedly worth $500 million. $500 million. Vladdy's contract status was a big concern for Jays fans entering the season, as we know, after the two sides, well, they didn't agree on anything. So Vladdy had said he didn't want to negotiate during the season, but money talks, and here we go.